There are so many things I wish I knew before I became a travel agent, and though I can't cover them all in this short YouTube video, I am going to share 10 of them. So if you're thinking about becoming a travel agent, then you are in the right place, my friend. My YouTube channel has all kinds of tips to help you make an informed decision about whether or not you should become a travel agent and how to get your first 10 clients. Are you ready? Okay, here are 10 things I wish I knew before I became a travel agent. Okay, let's start with something that's probably obvious to some of you, but maybe not obvious to others. Being a travel agent is so much more than these videos we see of some girl sitting with her laptop on the beach. It's like, who actually wants to have a laptop on the beach? I've never understood that stereotype. It's so weird, but obviously it's work, right? Anytime you own any kind of business, or even if you don't have a business, if you're a travel agent working at an agency, a brick and mortar traditional one, you're going to be working. Of course, the flexibility is great. We do get amazing discounts, deals, rates. We get to go on fam trips. I love sharing about ways that travel agents can take advantage of fam trips. I share even more about that on my Instagram page, by the way, at Travel Agent Haven. I'll put a QR code somewhere on the screen. Hold your phone up, act like you're going to take a picture, and then click on that link. It'll take you right to our Instagram page. I share fam trips I find right there for you. You can also find them on YouTube Shorts, but they go on Instagram first. So sometimes they only have an application window open of like a week. You'll want to be there so you don't miss them. But yeah, it's not all glamorous trips and first class flights. One of the things I get asked the most often about people who are thinking about becoming a travel agent is, do I get any discounts on flights? Do I get any deals? And no, not really. Now, we can sometimes get flight discounts and deals for our clients. I like to put an asterisk warning here. Not all the time, it depends on the package, but usually that's when they're booking multiple things. So they're booking a car rental, an all-inclusive resort, a meal plan, theme park tickets, things like that. But typically 9 times out of 10, our clients don't get flight discounts and we don't either. But we do get some other amazing perks. And in fact, I even have this free training that shows how you as an agent could go stay in the Maldives for a week for under $1,000. So definitely catch that training. The link will be down in the episode description, so you can go ahead and open it up in a new tab. Go watch it when you're done with this video. I'll also have it on my YouTube channel, so you can go under the banner on the top and find it there anytime. But yeah, it's work, right? It's fun work, but it's still work. The second thing I wish I knew is that you have to be a salesperson. Now, this doesn't mean that you have to be quote unquote naturally good at sales, because who is naturally good at sales, right? Sales is a set of skills that has to be learned and practiced and refined over time, just like anything else. Same thing with marketing. I often hear new travel agents say how stressed they are about marketing and they're not good at social media and they're scared of showing their face online. I totally get it. I've heard it all. I've been there. I used to hate social media. Now that I've been able to make money from it and I've seen how fun it can be and how free it can be and how I get to choose how I use it. By the way, you don't have to. I've helped many travel agents build successful, profitable travel agent businesses not using social media. So it's definitely not a requirement. Anyway, I'm getting a little ahead of myself, but you do have to be willing to develop your sales skills to be a travel agent, because at the end of the day, since we're paid with commissions, we're salespeople. Number 3, networking is everything. I am so adamant that going to conferences, being part of professional organizations, making friends in the industry, it is not just busy work or something we do for fun or something that makes us feel good. It is a part of the work we do, especially when you think about what sales is. For example, sales is building relationships with people, finding out what their problems are and solving them, figuring out what their pain points are and solving them. And we don't do that unless we build relationships, and relationships start with networking and making connections. You also want to make sure that you make friends in the travel industry if you do become a travel agent or if you are one, because any kind of business is really hard to build. It can be a really long slog. It can be hard. So you want to have people who can encourage you and who can help you, because maybe they're a few steps ahead of you, or they've done one thing you really want to do. Like, you really want to have a YouTube channel to get clients and they've figured out that part. Or maybe they're really good at email marketing and that's something you need to work on. That is one thing I love about my team, by the way. It is not a competition. We have over 80 agents in this group chat and we are all so supportive of each other. Even though multiple agents specialize in cruises, multiple agents specialize in Mexico or the Caribbean, it doesn't matter. We share tips. We share when certain cruise lines are offering really awesome promotions. We share that with each other. I will come up with a post idea and I share it in there so they don't have to think about their social media content. It's a great community. So if you're thinking about becoming a travel agent, we would definitely love to help you with that. You can find that information down in the video description, or you can just comment a question and I'll get back to you too. Networking is everything. And if you can't do in-person events, I totally get that. It can be really expensive when you're starting out, especially if you haven't had clients yet, or if you're still working on getting your first few clients. There are so many opportunities to network online for free, and I'm always sharing those in our group chat. Number 4, as a travel agent, there is always more to learn. I've been a travel agent officially since 2020, but I've been working in the travel industry since 2017. And every single day, even though I do consider myself an expert, even though I've helped agents sell over $5 million in travel, I have so much I can learn. And I'm constantly refining my skills, my communication. I'm looking at automating things. I'm learning how to work with people. I'm hiring people, firing people. That's always kind of scary. I have done so much already to be a few steps ahead of you to help you, but I'm also learning too, and it's going to be the same for you. You're going to learn about becoming a travel agent itself. What does that mean? What does that look like? Actually booking travel. Where do you log in? Which tools and tech should you use? You're going to learn about how you do sales and how you do marketing. You're going to learn about what you believe about travel, what you really are passionate about, what you're excited to book, what you don't like to book. Learning what you don't like and what you're not willing to do is just as important as figuring out what you do love to do, right? It's all important. Not to mention countries change, destinations change, companies change. There is always change, and I think that's a given in any kind of business or industry, but it's especially true in travel because there are so many moving parts. There are the actual destinations themselves, there are the partners, suppliers, and vendors you work with, like the cruise lines, tour companies, etc. And then there's also you. You are a person, you're continually growing and changing, and you as having someone with a personal brand and also being human, you know, you're not going to feel the same every day. Some days you're going to be sick, some days you're going to be tired, and you'll have to learn how to do something in a shorter amount of time. Like, you're just going to be constantly learning and growing throughout your whole journey. Number 5, time management is crucial. And I'm going to go ahead and say organization is crucial here. I mean, really, like, the 3 biggest things that you may not think that are really important when it comes to being successful as a travel agent are time management, organization, and communication. If you can get those 3 skills pretty much down and then just work on sales, it's really important, because sales is important too, but I consider that part of communication. Oh my goodness. So much of we do is communicating and staying organized and helping our clients stay organized, because organization, that's another set of skills that's not always taught, and it's not something that comes inherent to everyone, right? We all have different levels of organization, different ways. It's a lot. So not only do you have to be organized yourself with your time, with your communication, but you also have to be flexible with others, because not only are you dealing with the organization and communication style and time management of your client, but also the partners and also maybe anyone at our host agency that you'd be working with. So it's a lot of moving parts, and you have to be both flexible with their requirements and their styles, but also on top of your own stuff. Number 6, building a client base takes time. I often get asked, can you make a full-time income as a travel agent? Yes, you can, absolutely. If you haven't already, definitely go check out the Pack Your Passport podcast playlist here on the YouTube channel, because I interview agents and they talk about how much money are they actually making, how are they getting their clients, how much are they working, and I think those are really good episodes for you to watch or listen to. But they don't start out like that, right? You're usually seeing and hearing the stories of people who are 1 year, 2 year, 3 years in. Now, is it possible to get your first client 2 weeks after becoming a travel agent? Yes. It took me about 3 months, but I usually tell new agents or people who are thinking about becoming a travel agent to give yourself a year mentally. And I know that can be really stressful, because at a job, you would not work for a year without getting paid, right? Like, nobody would do that. But when you have your own business, it's different, because in the beginning, you're learning so much and there's so much that you don't know how to do. You don't even know what you don't know, that you have to spend time thinking about your brand, thinking about what you do and do not want to do, creating assets, creating products, building out your services, thinking about how you want to communicate with your clients, thinking about who your clients are. Honestly, so much of what you do in the beginning is learning and thinking. And then you start to move into the actual action, and that itself can be really hard and scary, but don't worry, we'll help you if you want to work with us. But yeah, building a client base takes time, just like it took you time to get really good at the career that you have as a full-time job. I mean, even thinking about my first few jobs, like my first job was working at Subway as a sandwich artist. It took time to get as fast as I was. At a certain point, we used to race each other to like see who could make the fastest sandwiches. It took time to get to the point where I could make a sandwich in under like 2 or 3 minutes, right? Be kind to yourself, give yourself grace. It takes time. I'll also tell you from a professional standpoint, I was a classroom teacher for 5 years. The first year was honestly survival. I mean, it's so sad that teachers have to go through this year of hazing, but basically that's how it is. And then it wasn't really until year 3 that I felt like I had my footing. As a travel agent, this is now my 4th year, and I've been really fortunate to have success, but I also say fortunate with an asterisk, because I also worked really hard and I put in a lot of hours and a lot of effort in the beginning to learn. You're gonna have to grind grind and hustle a little bit. I know people don't like those words, but I just want to be real with you because so many people will sell you the dream of making money while you sleep and passive income and all these things, but they're either A, not being completely honest, or B, they're missing the part where you have to work harder at the beginning. That's everybody. And it's for a time. So that's why I say mentally prepare yourself for a year. Now, not a year of I become a travel agent and then I do absolutely nothing and then I expect clients to roll in. No, that's a year of hard work. Okay. So I want you to be fully prepared for that, because if you're not, then yeah, you're not going to get the results. But also don't be fooled. That's any model out there, becoming a virtual assistant, selling digital products, drop servicing, drop shipping. Like there are always these new fads of things that come out. It doesn't matter, honestly, what you choose. That first year is going to be the hardest. So I tell people mentally prepare yourself to not make any money for a year, because it probably won't take a year if you're really committed and focused, but then you'll be happier because of your expectations, right? It's like, oh, well, I was ready to make no money for a year, but I made money in 6 months. That's great. And also, it's just not a good idea to start a business if you don't have any money, because to join any host agency, or I should say any reputable host agency, of course, you're going to pay some kind of membership due, something to pay for your certification, because they're taking on a lot of liability and risk by basically putting their name and giving you a stamp of approval, right? So it's totally normal to pay a host agency. And yes, they usually will have a monthly or quarterly fee. Think of it like membership dues. Okay, number 7. I love talking about fam trips. Fam is short for familiarization. And fam trips are these amazing things that we get to do as travel agents, where we get to go experience destinations, we get to experience certain companies, and we really get to understand what is it that this company or this trip or this travel experience is selling. And we do that with the purpose and hope of selling more of it, right? Like if you focus on cruises, then yeah, you should go on more cruises and figure out what is it like? Like what is the Princess Cruise experience in Alaska versus the Royal Caribbean experience in Jamaica? I'm just throwing them out. I don't know if those are actually things because I'm not really a cruise specialist. But if you are a cruise specialist, then yeah, it makes sense to go on more cruises so that you know what you're talking about. And the cool thing is, of course, if you were just to pay full price all the time, that would be very, very expensive and hard for you to do. But these companies actually give deals to travel agents, so we get to go at a very reduced rate. Occasionally, once you start booking a lot of travel, you might even get invited by the companies to go for free. Now, I never want to guarantee that, okay? So all the disclaimers there, things can change at any time. These are independent companies. They get to make up their own mind. But it is a possibility. And also, every time I find a fam trip, because I have now learned all the places to look, I share them both with the agents on my team and the members of Fam Finder. Fam Finder is our membership for travel agents who want to go on more fam trips. I share in a weekly email where you can find them. I share the links and all that. So the 2 ways you can get access to those fam trips, you can either become an agent through our affiliated links. So if you haven't become an agent, definitely check that out. If you already are a travel agent and you're like, oh, I want in on that, then definitely check the description of this video because you'll find more information about that. Or send me a DM on Instagram over at Travel Agent Haven and I'll talk to you about that too. Instagram, by the way, really great way to reach me if you have a one-on-one question that you don't want seen publicly, like in a comment on YouTube. But yeah, fam trips, as great as they aren't always as relaxing as they seem because they are work. You're not just going on a free trip or a discounted trip. Fam trip is work. There's really an expectation that you're going there, you're taking notes, you're doing research, you're getting content. Honestly, the content that you get while on that fam trip is really important. I'm constantly taking photos, I'm constantly taking videos because I will use that in my own marketing to sell that asset, but also because it positions you as a professional. Because just think about it. Which travel agent would you rather book with? The one who's spending their own time, energy, effort, and money to go and inspect these ships, to go on these experiences so they know the difference between the brands, or the one who just shares random ads on Facebook? Which one looks more professional? The more original content you create and the more you put yourself in front of these suppliers and get to know them and be professional, the more opportunities you're going to get, the better networking opportunities you will have, the more likely it is that you will get invited on those free and discounted trips. Please don't ask them about that though. That's an easy way to get not invited back to any of them, but also another way to get bookings. So fam trips are definitely work, but what would you rather have for work? Like for me, go to a classroom of 30 kids or go on a tour for 80% off and take some photos and videos. Like, I'm gonna take this one. Number 8, you are so much more than a travel agent. Really, being a travel agent, being a travel advisor, travel planner, whatever you call yourself, is just one hat you wear. It's just one role you play in your business. Sometimes you're gonna be the model in your own photos and videos. Sometimes you're the photographer, videographer. Sometimes you're the marketing specialist. Sometimes you're the communications director. You know, you are wearing a lot of hats, especially in the beginning beginning, unless and until you can hire out or delegate or automate some of these things, which we'll get to eventually. But in the beginning, it is important for you to learn all these things, because say you do decide to hire someone in the future, how do you know someone's doing a good job or what to look out for if you haven't had a chance to do it yourself? So I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself here, but just to say that when you're a travel agent, you're really so much more than that. I don't want to say that you're like a counselor or therapist, because obviously those are certified things, but you are doing a little bit of coaching, at least if you're a great travel agent. If you think about it, travel can be a really stressful time for someone, even if they're excited about the trip. There can be flight anxieties, there can be fear of the unknown, there can be stress. Maybe it's their first solo trip and they've only ever traveled with family or friends. Maybe it's their first international trip abroad, or maybe they're just really nervous about not packing everything they need. These are all really real fears. And I think sometimes as avid travelers and travel professionals like ourselves, we can sometimes forget to empathize with what it's like to be in that role, because we either haven't been like that for a long time, or we can't even remember ever being like that. Like, I've always traveled, right? Even though the travel style has changed. In my 20s, I did seasonal jobs in hospitality. I've always been this adventurous go-getter person. So for me, it's hard to understand why someone might be scared to take a flight or go on a trip by themselves. But in theory, I understand, like, oh yeah, it is really scary. So try to put yourself always in the feet, in the shoes, in the heart, in the mind of the person you're serving, and keep in mind that being a travel agent is just one hat you wear. Now, you don't have to be all touchy-feely if that's not your style. If you're just more like, hey, this is business, I would actually rather be more transactional, that's okay. But you do have to think about what you're up against if you do want to be more transactional. If you think about booking platforms and automations and things, they're going to beat you out in automation and convenience every single time, because that's what they focus on. Someone who's booking with a travel agent, they want to learn from your experience. They want to learn about your expertise. They want to hear your stories. They want your support. They probably feel like they know you and like you from your content. If you've been creating content, you've built this parasocial relationship with them, or you know them in real life, so you have a real relationship with them, and that's why they want to support you. So really show up for them, and think about, if you're not a travel agent yet, if that's something you'd want to do. Number 9, you'll hear me talk a lot about this on this channel and on the Pack Your Passport podcast, but it is so important for you to have a niche. Now, this is a really hot topic. It's a love-hate one for me. I don't think that you have to have a niche to book your first trip, and I don't think you have to have it all figured out. In fact, sometimes you don't know who you want to work with or what you like or what you don't like until you do stuff. Taking action is going to get you so much clarity. So what I usually tell new agents is just focus on reaching out to your first 100 leads, get your first 10 bookings, and after 10 bookings, 10 client interactions, you'll already have a really good idea about what you like, what you don't, who you want to work with, who you want to avoid, and then you'll be able to use that information and data to make a better decision about what you're going to do going forward. You'll find all kinds of content about picking a niche and specializing on this channel, but an easy, quick way to think about it, just in case this is the first and maybe only video you hear of mine, watch of mine. Destination, do you want to focus on a certain city, state, place, region, country? Occasion, do you want to focus on honeymoons, destination weddings, elopements? Do you want to focus on family reunions, multi-generational travel, family trips, solo trips, girlfriend getaways? You can kind of see how even just specializing in destination or occasion can really help you out. But maybe you want to focus on the type of travel. So maybe you want to focus on outdoor travel, adventure travel. I would say that's still a little bit broad, but at least that gives you an idea kind of your brand and your vibe and which partners you're going to focus on. Maybe you want to focus on the traveler. Now, I would argue that you're always going to want to focus on the traveler, but maybe you want to start from there first. So my group trips for teachers, I have a lot of diversity in the kind of trips we do, but they all kind of follow a few themes. And that's because I've learned what the teachers like. So you might decide you want to go people first and then pick the other stuff, or you might want to pick the other stuff and then figure out who likes that kind of travel. There's really no wrong answer here. And of course, consider your likes, your experience, your expertise. If you've been to Mexico 5 times, or if you have family there, that's going to give you a really unique value add that maybe I wouldn't have or someone else wouldn't have. Number 10, the freedom is unbeatable. The perks are great. I really wish I would have started sooner. You know, becoming a travel agent is something I thought about. It would be in and out of my mind for years, okay? Because I didn't become a travel agent until 2020, which was kind of a wild year to start. But in retrospect, it was really good that I started that year. So many years before that, I thought about it. My undergraduate degree was in Parks, Recreation, and Tourism Management. I thought about it then. After college, I worked at a community center. I thought about it then because that job was really hard. I was a summer camp director, and I thought like, oh, I already kind of do a lot of this, but I'd like to do this for adults or families maybe. The flexibility and freedom to be able to travel, and not only that, but to get paid from the travel expertise I have, to earn commissions off of helping people do it, off something I believe so strongly, because I really do want to help everyone in the world see more of the world. And I know that's a tall order, and there are so many ways to do that, whether that's helping people travel with resources or becoming travel agents themselves. You get to choose what it looks like for you. You can work from home and be with your kids and make a full-time income only working a few hours a week, or you can have a jet setter lifestyle where you are that person with a laptop on the beach, which again, why would you have a laptop on the beach? But I don't know, maybe you want to. Maybe you just like the photos. I actually love getting photos done when I go to a new city. That's a pro tip, by the way. If you're not into marketing or you're not good at photography, go book a local photographer. You can do so on sites like Airbnb Experiences or Viator, and just go get a tour of the city with a photographer and get some professional photos done. It really elevates your personal brand. Just fun to have as a souvenir too. Make sure that when you're booking that also that the photographer is okay with commercial use of your photos, because sometimes it is different if you have licensing for personal use, just for funsies, or commercial use because you're going to be using them for business purposes. Those are just 10 things. There is so much more I wish I could share with you, and I will be sharing more on this YouTube channel. So if you haven't already, I would greatly appreciate it if you would hit like, subscribe, and then click that little bell so you never miss notifications of when a new video is posted. You can also connect with us on the Instagram account if you want to talk to us one-on-one. And I say us, even though it's me checking the Instagram, I'm constantly talking to my team every day. So if you ask me something and I don't know the answer, I'm going to kick it back to them. Send us a DM, ask a question in the comments, and I'll see you in the next video.